Hello and welcome. Today we've got Michaud, and today we are going to be discussing the disastrous Biden inflation and also the sound money wallet and what we need to be doing to take power away from the deep state. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, myself and Mark can choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. Mark, thank you for joining me. How are you, sir? And what have you been up to?
Well, it's quite an amazing time going on in the world today, huh? We're doing great, considering everything that we're seeing, but gas prices are through the roof, and all the stuff around us. Our external environment's not great, but internally we're doing awesome.
So how much was the gas prices when Trump was president?
It was about $2.28. That's what I remember. It actually might have been a little bit lower than that. Right now, we just hit and this is in Maine, $4.95, and it's climbing by like a dime a day. I'm not kidding. It's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going up.
Do you think
ridiculous?
I mean, it's very ridiculous. I mean, you might have to get a loan to put a full tank these days.
Yeah.
So
that's a big advantage of working from home, though. Is that you don't have to go out there and spend the gas.
Yeah. I mean, you get away from the business rates.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, do you think it could get up to $5, $6, even $7?
They're saying it's going to go as high as 10 in some places.
Are you serious? You're saying that in some states right now, it's as high as 10?
No, they're saying it's going to go as high as 10. I've seen it. I've already seen pictures of it at 7 and higher. And here's the bottom line. They cut off the Keystone pipeline, and that right there is we were completely, as a country, we were energy independent, and we were doing extremely well. And it was not causing any environmental issues. It was all something that was actually employing a lot of people, including Native Americans, who ended up getting hurt when they decided just unilaterally to just shut that down and make us completely dependent upon foreign sources, especially countries that hate us. That's where we got to get our energy from. It doesn't make any sense.
So the energy and the oil is so much more expensive because you're not using your own, you're using other countries', oils. And they've shut off, they've stopped the Keystone pipeline, and they're not using your oil, which, you had access to before when Trump was president. Why do you think that is? What is it doing there? It's just sitting there, the oil, and you guys are spending a fortune on using another country's oil. What is the point of that? What is the purpose of that from the deep state's perspective?
Well, I mean, I like the environment just as much as anybody else. I don't want to ever hurt the environment, but you have some extreme people coming in and they just want to do everything and completely get rid of fossil fuels altogether. And because of that, and the voices of just a small minority can sit there and affect public opinion, especially when you got an administration that's doing what this one is doing. And they will refuse to sit there and go after where they know that there is existing oil that would take all of the heat and the pressure off people all across the country. And they don't want to do that. I mean, even if it was a temporary stopgap to help people, that would be tremendous. So that's one factor in what's happening with the gas prices. The second factor is that they're printing money like it's going out of style. If you go on the usdebtclock.org and you look at the money supply, I mean, it's blowing up exponentially. And the more money they print, the less that it's worth. And so that's why you're seeing the dollar go up in terms of, the inflation go up, but the dollar's value and the purchasing price go down. And so when you combine that and then you take away the supply, I don't see it slowing down because they're continuing to print money. They're sending more money over there. They're sending money everywhere. They're not doing anything to protect our border here in the States, but they're sending money everywhere else. And they're just printing it like it's going out of style. And it literally is mind blowing. And I'll tell you what, that's why, honestly, you hear us, some people may have seen us on here before, And that's why we stress people need to learn about precious metals. They need to. I mean, it's a way. We've listened to Robert Kiyosaki, and 2 years ago, we didn't have any. Now we got ourselves educated, and it's helping to protect us against all this stuff that's going on. It's been pretty amazing.
Yeah. When I watched Trump's rallies, I think even from 2 years ago, you'd see, advertisements, to encourage people subconsciously to get involved in silver and gold. And even, Trump would be, pushing that. He's a big, gold standard guy, So let's talk about the food prices. And when you're going shopping now, I mean, has milk gone up? Has bread gone up?
Everything has gone up. And it's also, you're starting to see more bare shelves and I think you're going to see even more of that as the gas prices continue to go up. That's going to have an automatic impact on all the prices of everything else, because you got to transport it, and the transportation again is going to come down to our fuel prices. So it's a big ongoing cycle. That's not in a good way. You need to have someone step in who is going to regulate and control the spending that is massive. I mean, we need to go backwards in time 2 years to look at where we were, to think that we were even so close to Middle East peace, which is so important. Everybody says that they want, but then you've got these people with ulterior motives that have a design for what they want to do in the world, and the heck with us. We're not in their game plan. But I'll tell you what, if we go back in time, it would be an amazing thing, but we can get it back. That's the best thing. And we know it's coming in the future.
Well, when you go to a restaurant and you don't like the food, you can easily just, leave and go to another restaurant, or even cook it at home yourself. Now, it's the same with the gas prices that, everything stops. There's no, gas is too expensive. We can't just, go and use, water to fill up our cars. Now, that's bad, because ultimately what we've done is we've given all of the power to the deep state, and now they really have us. They have us. It's like, if you want to drive without gas and you want to put something else, Ribena, you can't, to go and drive, and everything stops. And we've given so much power to them in mostly every single industry, including banking. Mm-hmm. And, let's talk about banking, and let's talk about, the importance of silver and gold, because as inflation goes up, gold becomes more expensive, because we need more of those pounds and those dollars, which are decreasing, to make up for the value of gold. Now, the longer we stay with our dollars in our accounts, it's like having a cryptocurrency in someone else's wallet, i.e. the bank, and that cryptocurrency is just devaluing. Okay, every day it's devaluing. It's not working for us. Okay, yes, we do need money to trade and, to buy shopping and stuff like that. That's fine. We have a float. But most of us like to have our wealth, which we like to save, where we use to go on holiday in the next year or so, or we want to buy a new car or a house or something. And most of us leave it in our accounts, and that's devaluing every single day because of what's happening. And we're seeing it with the prices of gold shooting up. And the deep state do not want us to know that really we should be having and storing our wealth in gold, because it's going up, and that's what the rich do. And we should be playing at their game. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your perspective on inflation, Mark, and what can we do about it? Because I know that you have an alternative here about the Sound Money wallet, the Sound Money, account. Why don't you tell us how we can benefit from this? How every American, not even an American, but even around the world, in the UK, how we can benefit from this that suits us, that allows us to get through our day-to-day lives with this system.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. With over time, the gold and silver have always maintained their purchasing power. I'm going to give you an example, and this is kind of amazing. I'll give you two examples, as a matter of fact. If you went back to 1965, when a silver eagle and also or a silver dollar and also a paper dollar were equivalent in value in 1965, you could walk into a dealer and walk out or drive out of there in a brand new Ford Mustang with either one. Fast forwarding to today, $2,500 in paper money won't even put down payment on one. Whereas if you had the same 2,500 ounces of silver, you'd be able to get yourself 2 cars. That's one example. Here's another one regarding gold. Back in, and these stats are mind blowing, but they're true. Back in 2001, you could have bought a home, which was worth, I believe, like $147,000 for 626 ounces of gold. Fast forward to 20 years last year, for less gold, you could have bought 3 houses worth more than $1 million combined for less gold than you would have spent back in 2001. That's showing you how the dollar is dropping in value, but how gold and silver are maintaining their purchasing power. It's protecting, it's kind of like insuring all the money that you've been working for. Imagine this, that you're going out there and you're working hard every week, putting food on the table for your family and trying to save for a future, but you're looking at our cost of living increases, that there's no way that the money you're earning is even going to come close to keeping up with the double-digit increases that we're seeing in some of these things. And so it puts people in a real hole, and you're working harder and harder every week for a currency that's doing this in value. And we're not going to get ahead if we do that. That's where we got to somehow go out and protect ourselves. And our opinion, and based on what we've learned from Robert Kiyosaki and some of the experts, gold and silver, again, just based on those stats, what we've been able to experience has been just a more comfortable sort of security, knowing that we're able to put our money into something that we see as an appreciating asset, as opposed into a depreciating currency. And unfortunately, all the currencies around the globe are tied to the US dollar. So as you start seeing the inflation here, it's going to be a global situation. And to be honest with you, that's what the elite want. They want to basically destroy the system. They want to bleed it dry, and then they want to go out and create their own system. And there'll be a lot of people hurt in the process if that were to be the case.
So if I purchase gold and silver right now, assuming that inflation would go higher, that means that I could, are you saying that I could possibly benefit from that purchase?
Yeah, no one can predict what's going to happen with gold and silver. And so I don't want to be having anybody out there recording saying, oh, he's saying this is going to happen. But I will say this, look at what's happening in the fact that so many people, right now, there's a whole bunch of what's called ETFs that are printed out there. These are pieces of paper that say, hey, this is worth an ounce of silver. And they have anywhere from 300 to 1,000 of those for every physical ounce of silver. So they don't have the silver to actually cover what they're actually saying. And if you take a look at literally, and you hear some of the stories about what silver really would be worth once the bubble pops, look at supply and demand. I mean, that's why we're investing in it. We're looking at it as what we feel is going to be a safe place for our money to be sitting, and hopefully be able to see a nice return as the dollar drops. It's unfortunately, we're in this situation, and I hate to say it, but people just need to be proactive. They need to learn at least. And that's one thing that we can teach them is, what are the options for yourself? And then you make up your own mind. But people absolutely need to go out there and get proactive about it to make sure they're not going to end up being in a situation later in which they'll be very uncomfortable.
Absolutely. I like the sound money wallet thing. I've been with you guys for a year. I've tried it out. It's worked for me very well. It's something that I want to share with the viewers. You can't go wrong with silver and gold, and it's something that everyone needs to be educated. And if you feel that, I'm not sure, or I feel subconsciously it feels that it's outside of your comfort zone, it's okay. It's only because we're so used to the current system and we don't like change. We like to continue with what we know. So Mark, I know you and Daniel hold webinars, free webinars, where you educate people, you tell them much, much more in detail of what the Sound Money Wallet is, how they can benefit, how they can make money, and they don't have to do that much. So why don't you explain to us a little bit about how this Sound Money Wallet works?
Sure. There's a lot of people that don't. I'll give you our example. We didn't know anything about gold and silver. And even when we bought some from our local dealer, we still didn't know anything. We went in there and we bought it. We left there clueless, because we're not educated about that. And it's exactly what you were referring to before, Nicholas. They don't want us to know. And that's why they don't educate us. But the banks and the governments are hoarding gold and silver right now. So with this membership, we got the education, because there's 2 components of education within our membership that were seriously worth the value of the membership alone. And they helped us to learn all about buying bullion, and they helped us to learn about buying collector coins. The bullion aspect, that's where it comes into the sound money wallet, because everybody wants to be able to, you want to have simplicity. You want to know that you're getting it from someone you trust. You want to know that if you can have it stored for yourself, because you don't want to keep all of your silver with you at your home. Sometimes security might not be as good as it would be if you were to have some good private storage. And so with a sound money wallet, basically, it's kind of like a digital wallet that you would see with cryptocurrency, except this one is 100% backed by physical metals. So you can go and log into your wallet. You have a special security code when you log in. You can load the wallet by attaching your bank account and having the money put in that way. If you're in the US, outside the US, you have to do either a wire or crypto. And so people load their wallet and they put their cash in there. Now, here's my personal belief. Even if I were to put my cash in there, it's not necessarily earning interest, but it's safer than sitting in a bank somewhere that could be insolvent. And then they take everything that you have in the bank, including stuff in your safe deposit box. So it's a private vault where you can even keep it in the form of cash. But then you can go in and buy gold and silver eagles in fractional amounts of whatever dollar amount you want. I mean, you can buy $1, you can buy $100, you can buy $1,000. And what the company will do is you'll see it instantly in your wallet that it's moved from cash to silver. And then the company will physically move the silver into a private vault for you, which is audited once a month by a third-party bank. So all the metals that you're actually buying are there. You're getting the physical metals. If you want to have them sent to you, you can do that. Here's the big one, though, Nicholas, that I'll tell you about that I love within that wallet. You're in the UK. We're over here in the US. If I wanted to send you some money, for example, I could, using the Sound Money wallet, I could transfer fractional amounts of gold or silver to you as another member through that wallet. So I could send you $100 and you would have silver in your digital wallet, which you could then have sent to you. And it's across the ocean like that, but it's still a way that we could keep, in a sense, within this community, our society going by still having ways that we could barter and help each other out.
So in this Sound wallet, you know how you've got, because I don't use it to its fullest yet. I'm still learning because I've been so busy and it's taken me so much time, and I want to learn more about this. And this is a question that I would like to know. So in this Sound wallet, you've got different accounts. You've got a gold account, you've got a silver account, you've got a dollar account. Mm-hmm. And what you do, let's say you've got some money in your dollars. You could say, right, I'm going to move that into the gold account and I'm going to have X amount of gold. Now, when gold goes up, that will go up naturally. I don't have to do anything because It's sitting in the gold account. Once I know I'm ready, that I want to make a big purchase, buy a property or a house or something that I know I could reinvest my money in, or go on holiday or whatever you want to use it for, I can just draw it out into dollars. And then you have a card with that, I believe, which, well, actually, I know that with the card, you have a card and you can use that online. You can use that at the ATMs. You can use that in the stores. Tell us more about that. And when you mentioned also, and before I forget, this is very important, when you mentioned about storage, I know what the viewers are thinking. The viewers are thinking, it's better to have it in your hands. How do we know that if that company goes bankrupt, they're going to take our silver and gold and our wealth? Can you tell us why this is different, and also the security system that you have and the vaults?
Yeah, they're all insured 100% by one of the elite companies that deals with precious metals and commodities on both the storage and on the shipment to you. So all of it's 100% insured, and it's protected under, I believe, like 9 layers of security. It's way more secure than any sort of a bank vault. And it's something that I can tell you this, because they shared this with us once. Maybe I shouldn't even be sharing this, but you get past like the first layer of security, and then you're locked into a room and you can't go anywhere, and the SWAT team's on its way there if you get past that first layer. So, and then there's like 6 or 7 more layers beyond that. So there's tremendous security and safety in the vault, and also the fact that it's 100% insured. And you have to go through a lot of very strict regulations to have that sort of insurance on that. So that's something that hopefully people can feel very comfortable with. The reason why we do it is, we keep some here. We keep enough silver, just like the metals here, so that we can go out, and if everything fell apart, we could get by for a few months with that. We're not going to keep our big stack here. We can, And if that's something that people want to do, they can definitely have that sent to them if they so desire. We just like having the security of knowing that it's being protected. And if we want it, we can have it just like that. And here's the big thing. We can liquidate it quickly. Like you were just saying, if you wanted to go out and buy property, some people still may not be going out and dealing with gold and silver in that sense. They may want the actual dollars or pounds. And so with this, what you can do is if you would normally have, for example, these are silver eagles that came from the Sal Monte wallet. I had these sent to us here. And we have silver when other companies don't, simply because of the buying power of our membership. Okay. So these right here have been, I mean, we can walk around with these. I walk around with these all day and they're pretty fantastic. But if I wanted to go out there and turn this back into cash, I'd either have to send it into the company or go to a local dealer, and then they'd give me the fiat currency equivalent of what its value is at that time. Within the wallet, if I want to liquidate it and I want it to be cash, I just touch the mouse and they instantly switch it back over to cash, which I can then hit in my bank. Now, as far as the card you were talking about, they have that card you're referring to. That is what they have outside of the US that you can get different sorts of, if you decide that you want to share, you can have your commissions put right onto that card, and you can go out there and you can use it for expenses. In the US, it still would have to be taken out into your bank. They're working on having a card. And maybe I shouldn't even say this because they kind of said this, it's supposed to be confidential, but I know one of the ideas that they would love to be able to do down the road is to be able to have a card that is attached to your gold or silver account. And then that way you can go out there and do it that way. So it's an outstanding program. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun too.
I know we could go on forever because there's so much more to know and details, and it's so interesting. So, and I know you're doing webinars, free webinars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the link below, and anyone that's interested, just leave your name and email, and Mark and Daniel will get in touch with you, and you'll have fun on the webinar as well. Believe me, you. And Mark, it's been great once again. Thank you so, so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Yeah, no, I would just say thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And for anybody out there who's listening, who's even, you're thinking, well, I don't want to call up, I don't want to be dealing with a sales pitch. We're going to simply share with you how this works and how it can benefit you. And I'll tell you, timing wise, you absolutely want to take advantage of it. At least get the knowledge for yourself. We want to help as many people as we can, especially within this community. We have, and I think in our community, we have such giving hearts, and we want to help other people. And that's, I think, the education of what's going on is something people need to know.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, thank you very much. And we'll speak again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Nicholas.